Yeah.
generating billions through these madrasas.
Okay.
When FATF is looking on these things, that there should be no money laundering, when there should be no terrorist financing,
Right. It looks
and
like FATF
that
has
time
blinders on.
we are
So,
getting
Zafar,
these all information, authentic information. There is no
yeah,
blinded.
right. And there's one more area we need to talk, and for that reason, I'm going to uh, ask you to hold your thoughts, Zafar. Let's bring in a women rights activist. She's the director of Free Afghanistan org. And as you know, after Taliban took over, and despite the promises they made, the situation in Afghanistan has deteriorated, especially for women. They have been uh, facing a lot of problems. So instead of me talking about that, let's hear from Khalida Nawabi, who is a women rights activist and has experience uh, dealing with the situation in Afghanistan. Go ahead, Khalida Nawabi, please.
Um,
And introduce yourself. How did you get started in women rights, and what's your background on this, please?
Good time for everyone here and the ones who are listening as a part of this program. It is a big honor for me to be a part of this discussion. So as you know, my name is Khalida Nawabi, and I'm a woman activist. My struggle started, which inspired me a lot, after the attack of one of the maternity hospital by the terrorist group in 2020. So I started the social media campaign, and myself being a background working before as women rights activist for women rights protective issues back home in Afghanistan, I started my campaign to start against the terrorist activity that is taking place in Afghanistan. But it's not only about Afghanistan. Now I have my concern about the region. And the 9/11 has been an open book story of this terrorist attack and many more. I will not go to the history because it's everywhere in social media, and their facts are written and listened by everyone. The very disappointing thing is that after 20 years of fight against terrorism, my country is back in the hand of the terrorist. How a country that was a democratic being turned over by a terrorist group that is not Afghans, a terrorist group that is sponsored by my neighbor country, Pakistan, a big project of Pakistan secret agency. It is indeed very unexpected fact for me, because me, a very small person with small knowledge, can understand who the terrorists are, from where these terrorists come, who sponsored them. I know these facts, but the international community that has a huge sources and people who are working for different countries as their secret agency cannot trace back these sources of the fact that I know. Now, I don't understand the big proof of Pakistan rules that Osama bin Laden was there. This is enough for FTF to put Pakistan in blacklist. The second proof that I would give is that the terrorist group of project of them had invaded Afghanistan in 15 August 2021. This terrorist group is a clear, open book that turned over a democracy in a country, and now a terrorist group by the name of Taliban has control over Afghanistan. My concern is not only about Afghanistan, my concern is about the whole world. Now, when I come to specifically about Afghanistan, we have achieved in 20 years number of progress and development in various aspects of life, including the women's rights, their active part in the social life, work, education, industry, ministries, diplomats. Now, they are restricted by a terrorist group and are not allowed, or I don't want to say allowed, or abandoned from these basic rights that United Nations in each country of the world mostly has accepted to use and enjoy those basic rights. Now, my question to the international community is that why a terrorist group, a project of Pakistan, has given that much power that the world is silent for my country? And another disappointing that all of these leaders of this Taliban, which most of them are in blacklist of United Nations or in the FBI list of America, still very courageously, bravely in the government of these puppets. I don't say the government of those terrorist group, and world put a reward of millions of dollars to most of them to be awarded to the person who will catch that person. I mean, a terrorist leader or group. Now, those or most of them of these terrorist leaders are openly in Afghanistan, showing up in the media. Their voices are being heard, but no one taking action to go and get these terrorist leaders which were in the list. Now, my question is that, am I fool or the world is making me fool? How a person, a certain person with a criminal genocide of killing of 1,000 innocent people once in 20 years before or 30 years before becoming blacklist or as a rewarded person has now cleared all his criminal background, and now he or those leaders work in the puppet invasion of Afghanistan. When a person commits a crime in any country in the world, I mean as a felony, so when you go and get their criminal history background checkup, even for a simple employment, the employer will make hesitation to take that person as an employee.
That's true.
But look, in the record of this criminal history background remain until you're dead, until you are in your graveyard. But look, those terrorist leaders, groups are now clear. No one is catching them. They are traveling to Europe. International delegation invite them. Either they host them or they are either hosted by them. Wow. A simple innocent person, when get a speeding ticket, he will be recorded and still remain on his background. But terrorist leaders that kill innocent people, either it's Afghan or it is either it's any country, they are openly, freely moving inside Afghanistan, around many places in the world. if I go talking, it will, I mean, my feeling will go hurt, because international community or United Nations, EU, European Commission, USA, either make policies for their own benefits the time they want to use, the time they want to blame somebody, put them on the list and take out those people from the list. This
Very
is a
true.
this is a double standard.
Right, hypocrisy.
Yes, hypocrisy. So I just want to say, why, when two countries are in the blacklist, why not Pakistan is an FTA blacklist? There are more than 35 namely groups. Even when you Wikipedia them, you will find those groups actively working in the country, I mean Pakistan. They are sponsored by the Pakistan Secret Agency, and they are still working, they are still promoting, but none of the countries in the world take a single step, either United Nations, to say, hey, what the hell you are doing? Yes, why? Pakistan sit in the United Nations Council very openly. There is not even a single session to ask Pakistan, would you explain why these groups are working there? Why these people, you keep them or protect them as a terrorist? No one has the dare to stand and raise that voice. But anyway, I still will have the energy with my organization, with myself, to stand, to fight. It's not only about Afghanistan, it is about the terrorism in the countries that are supporting those terrorists. Your group and other groups will not stop their effort in order to stop these terrorist organizations. I will not stop my voice until my death to stop, to fight, to make this issue to the world so that they reconsider, rethink, and take a hard step to stop those countries that sponsor, promote terrorism. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Khalida Nawabi, for sharing your thoughts, and we appreciate your courage and enthusiasm for women's rights around the world. It was nice hearing your voice, and we don't feel that we are alone. We are with you, and we'll be standing by you in your struggle. So South Asian libertarians are just doing that in Southeast Asia, in all those countries. And it's not only that, your struggle is for all the women, for all the human beings. And half of the population in Afghanistan is suffering, being shut out of the jobs. Here in Houston, I have personally met very accomplished ladies from Afghanistan who are also struggling with in this issue. Some of the producers, writers, journalists, they are here. And hopefully there is a hope that a coalition among us will be built, and we can get back to where we were when Afghanistan was progressing. So there is always hope. The evil forces will not stay forever. And as they say, the time does not stay the same. It always changes. And for better, it will happen. Thank you again. We appreciate that for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure. And I just want to add at the end that world is not seeing the execution, the arrest, the abduction of thousands of Afghans right now in Afghanistan, the extreme violation, the extreme genocide by these terrorist group Taliban, which is sponsored by Pakistan Secret Agency. It is very disappointing, and no one is taking any step. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that was Khalida Nawabi, And so, Zafar, is Talha available?
Anwarji, I'm just waiting on him because he's gone for some meeting, but he will join us shortly.